Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you can hear me okay. As you know, this is really about applicant attraction. I don't know what the breakdown in the audience is between people who literally work in HR who work direct for an employer, but the same sort of principles apply. What we're going to talk about first is branding. We're then going to move on to job descriptions and how they work for you, how they work for us when we're advertising. We're going to talk about titles, salaries and locations. We're going to talk about managing expectations, which is more about how many applicants you anticipate you'll get from a campaign. Talk a little bit about formatting the adverts. And then right at the end, we've got some questions. As Liz said, you can ask questions as we go along, and we'll try and cover those as we come to them. So entirely up to you which way you want to do it. I'm going to talk first about the power of branding. I don't know whether people actually know what branding's all about, but I mean the dictionary definition is it's a set of associations that a person or group of people makes with a company, a product, a service, individual or an organisation. What it means for advertisers obviously is that you can promote your company via the online job advert simply by using your logo. So that works with the real strong brands, of which we'll cover in a minute. You've got the visibility of the recognised brand increases your applicant traffic, and applicants prioritise their search in favour of brands that they recognise. What's it mean to the employer? Well, if your brand is recognised, it encourages them to read the content, so applicants go on to read the advert. Your brand's promoted at a very low cost, creates positivity that you're actually looking and recruiting. And a good brand creates association with a sector or product. And some examples of that are obviously Nike and sports goods. Coca-Cola, as a matter of interest, estimate their brand identity at $65 billion US, which is just under half its market value. So you can appreciate it does make a big difference. Brand association, it's all the ones we know about, Meerkats and Compare the Market, and the animated phone for Direct Line. Johnny Vegas and his monkey for PG Tips, and the nodding bulldog, which we all know is Churchill Insurance. If we move on to job descriptions, you've got certain things you need to consider, and I guess that all of you create job descriptions before you advertise. If you don't, you really should. What you want to consider are things like the current job holder. By that I mean, what are the attributes that person's got? And that can then translate itself into a good job description. Sorry, we're just having a little problem with our little mouse. Okay, the purpose of the role. We need to clearly establish what that is, what you expect this person to do. It'll incorporate things like the clear reporting lines, the level of personal responsibility, and it'll itemize obviously the tasks that that person will carry out. What are the actual job requirements? Sometimes this is quite difficult because you can be doing a job and not always realise what the main factors are or the main considerations are. But it's really important that if you send across a job description, we write an advert, that you're very clear about what you actually expect this person to be able to do day to day. What qualifications do you expect? Qualifications is a tough one because, again, it can be very specific. It can be general, like you just want somebody to have a degree. But I think if it's a vocational qualification, you need to be very specific about what that is, particularly if it's engineering or IT. What skills are you looking for? Again, there's a marked difference between skills and experience. I'm sure you all appreciate what the difference is, but it is really important that in certain jobs you are very clear to the applicant what you would expect them to be able to do, even if you make it clear that when they come to interview, they may be asked to prove some of these skills. What level of experience you're looking for? There are certain laws around that now. We tend to only put up things up to 5 years because it starts to exclude people who've been around for a shorter period of time, like a graduate. But again, level of experience, very important. If you really need someone who's managed other people and has got experience of managing other people, you need to say that. Key competencies, they're all the things that the nice to haves as well as the things you expect people should do as a given. Quite often they're overdone in some of the adverts, but it is useful to put what you expect people to be able to do as a minimum.